am one of the most proactive project managers you will ever meet. And because of my proactiveness, my failure rate on projects is basically nil, minimized. And I'm going to share with you what I do so that you can do that too. Plan for risk. Okay, this gets missed so many times, which is why people have failure rates, high failure rates with their projects. But when you're proactive, I'm letting you know, you plan for this continuously from the start of the project. So I plan for initial risks that I know just walking in when I get my marching orders. I already know there's some risks I have to identify. They're there. Do not think they're not. I promise you, you have to dig a little bit, but they are there. Find out what they are. Put them and integrate them within your project initial documents like your scope template and your charter. The other thing too is when it comes to planning for risks, it's not just a one-time shot deal. You plan for risks throughout your project. And at key points in time, you want to do some really good in-depth risk planning. And that's just going to help you ensure that you're proactive because you're wanting to identify what are some potential risks and put some contingency and mitigation plans against them and add them into your project plan so that not only you're executing on your tasks, but you're also executing on some of those things to ensure that you mitigate the risk even coming to fruition. Huge, huge benefit and call out if you want to be successful on projects. Okay, so we're on the topic of risk already, then you need to get your hands on this. And I'm going to share with you later in the video how you can do just that. Create a priority matrix. This to me is like the most amazing tool in project management. It has helped me proactively nip things in the bud before they even become an issue or a problem. And because I promise you, all projects, there's always people who are looking to change your scope, increase your time, take away budget, whatever it may be. And the priority matrix is a really powerful tool. Good news is I have a full video on priority matrix that you can check out afterwards. So if you want to have more information on how to create one and the detailed information, but we're talking about scope, time, and budget. And it's a tool that you use to keep things on track and to ensure that you are being extremely proactive because you do it at the beginning. You get your buy-in at the beginning when everyone is really, there's no issues because you're at the beginning of your project. And then you have that tool to bring up when people want to start changing things on you because you have to keep people on track and you have to remind them what they agree to. And this priority matrix is one of the most magical tools that I use, the most simplest of tools, but the key is to get your buy-in at the beginning. Pay attention to team dynamics. You are only going to be as good as your team. Your team really are subject matter experts. They're the ones executing on the tasks. You want your teams to really mesh and meld and really start performing so that they are just doing amazing things collectively. Now, I find that being proactive, I try to bring this in from day one. I bring it in my kickoff meetings. I talk about team dynamics because there's specific team dynamics. Don't worry, I have so many videos on my YouTube channel on this subject. Just go to the search bar, Adriana Girdler, and you can type in team dynamics and tons of things will pop up. But it is something you can't ignore. And if you don't think like that or you're more task oriented, you will lose sight of the importance of your team dynamics. You can have all the great tasks in the world, but if your team doesn't get along, if they're not concerned or wanting to know what other people are doing, if they're not looking at the common good of the project and they're only looking at their tasks, you will struggle, you will have issues, and problems will start to pop up and you'll start to have failure. So to nip that all in the bud, it's all in how you kick everything off when you're bringing everyone together for the first time. And if you establish the norms and the rules and the expectations within your team dynamics, if you understand the stages of team dynamics, all of that is going to help you. And you want to start it off at the beginning. Set your expectations right from day one. It has a huge impact, but do not ignore team dynamics. I have seen projects which have amazing tasks and amazing people, but the team dynamics was basically nil and everyone was doing their own thing and the project ultimately failed. I promise you, you do not want that. And if you've experienced that, really take a look at your team dynamics. Before we get on to the rest of the tips, I just want to let you know that not only do I have this free content on YouTube, I also have this. If you want to go to the next step with me and you want to learn more at a premium level, you can enroll in Slay Project Management. It's the exact process I use for all my clients, including all the tools you'll need. I've put the link in the description box below. Implement change control forms. Oh my goodness, this is, I have saved myself so much headache and hassle. And again, being proactive by using change control forms. So what is a change control form? Don't get mixed up with change management. It is change control. So when people want to change things on your project, again, in conjunction with your priority matrix, I use this template and I have people fill it out. It's really quick. It's a one-pager and it makes people think. 9 times out of 10, just the fact that I have the template and I allow for either a team member or a senior executive or a sponsor who wants to make a change, I say, great, not a problem, fill this out. I'm happy to sit with you or you can do it on your own. All of a sudden, what they want to do is not as important anymore. And if someone truly makes the effort to fill it out, then yes, I will definitely look at it. Just because you have a project doesn't mean you can't change things, but you need to be proactive in how you make those changes. And that's getting the information before you just make a knee-jerk reaction and go ahead and do it. Again, one of my go-to tools for me to be extremely proactive. Escalate issues to your steering committee before it's too late. To be proactive, you need to have a committee made up of your senior executives or individuals who are invested in the project, who can really give the final approvals on things, provide you extra money if you need it for whatever reason, and to remove your roadblocks. This steering committee is critical, and you want to set it up actually in the beginning of your project. That's why you're being proactive, and you want to use them to help approve some of those key documents in your project. Now, not having a steering committee, number one, is not proactive. And then using them too late is also extremely not proactive. It's extremely reactive. And so you want to just set up regular intervals with them. I actually create my steering committees first before I create my project teams. Why? Because I need them to approve my scope templates, my charter, and my team members. I need to make sure I'm going to be given the resources I need. And if that's the case, I'm going to then have a frequency with them, whether it's every month, every 2 months, whatever it may be that we all agree to. But do not go to them too late. They're there to remove your roadblocks, so use them. That is another great tip and tool to use to be proactive. After action reviews. Sometimes this is also called postmortems. And a lot of times, if you're lucky, people will do this at the end of the project. Hey, how did everything go? You take a look at what you planned on doing, what actually happened, and then you talk about lessons learned, what could be done better, what you would keep, etc. But this tool and technique from a proactive perspective is something that I just don't use at the end of the project. I bring it throughout the project. So if you have an issue or you're at a milestone and you've completed it, do an after action of that milestone. Why? So that you can have some lessons from it and ensure that as you're moving through the life cycle of your project, you're not repeating some of those same mistakes. And in fact, I just did that with an actual client project where I had a supplier who was not delivering on what they needed to deliver on. And we kept on struggling, and I felt like I was struggling, like constantly on them to get things done. So at the end of the first deliverable, I didn't wait till the end of the project. I actually sat down with them and we had an after action review. So proactive. We were able to actually put it out in a very professional manner, by the way, where you take away the emotional charge, because I'm not pointing the finger, it's your fault. It's no, here's what we were supposed to do. Here's what happened. Now let's talk about solutions. So moving forward, we either continue the great work we're doing and change some of the things that are just not working for us from a standpoint of the project deliverable. And that really shifted and changed the relationship and the way they were performing as well. Again, the proactiveness. Excellent, simple tool and technique. So here are some parting words that I have for you in regards to being proactive for all the tips that I just mentioned. Is being proactive doesn't mean that I have a superpower. It doesn't. It just means I plan, I prepare, and I'm organized. I don't do things last minute or, off the cuff. It's really thought through in a very systematic, efficient, organized way. And there's some time, energy, and effort that goes into it. So when you're trying to shift from, let's say, a reactive mode to a proactive mode, Be kind to yourself. It's going to take some time. You're going to stumble a little bit, but as you get better at it, you'll just start to find out what works for you, and you'll just know to plan in advance, be prepared, because that's really the key to proactiveness, is to foresee what you think is going to have happen and have things set up in advance. So if they should come to fruition, you have the things that you need at your fingertips, and to plan in advance for any of those outcomes potentially that should happen. So just again, be kind to yourself when you're switching over to a proactive mode, and take note, it does take a little time, but I promise you, once you get into the groove, it's super easy peasy. It just becomes a part of who you are. Okay, so guess what I told you about this? Well, in our proactive state, I'm going to recommend highly that you get it and you read it, because it's going to help you with your projects, ensuring that you don't make the same mistakes and you don't fail. So definitely check it out. How can you get it? It's in a link underneath this video. Make sure you watch this next video, Mastering the Art of Mindset Shifting for Your Project. On that note, if you could subscribe to this channel, join our awesome community, like the video, provide a comment. Until next time, see you later.